Everybody, Boxing Bell coming back at you again today. Don't worry if I haven't watched your videos yet. I will. I've been super busy over the last couple days with kids being home. I'm doing this video because I've been using Cypress mulch probably for about the last year and a half, almost 2 years. Prior to that, I'd always use aspen litter. Well, actually, I use aspen litter. Always use aspen litter, even when I had my boas, when I was breeding, 200 boas a year. Always use aspen litter. Then I switched to newspaper when I got going back with my snakes. I wasn't happy with it because it was leaving, like on albinos, it'd leave just all these black smears all over them. And so I didn't like that. I've never been a big fan of paper anyway, and so I didn't buy any liners for any of that stuff. Plus I use all Pro-Line cages, and I just don't like liners. I mean, there's nothing wrong with everyone that uses them. I understand it. It's just, for me, I'm just not into them. What me and Priest have been doing all day today is cleaning every single cage we got. And for those of you that know, I have a lot of snakes, so that's a lot of cages I had to do today. What happened was, this morning, Tieson, which I just posted on my Instagram the other day, yeah, I haven't been on Instagram either. Don't worry, I'll get to everybody's stuff there too. So today I went down to check on Tieson because I knew he was in shed. So I check on my snakes every single day, a couple times a day. Checked on him the other day. This morning went down, checked on him, and I noticed he wasn't moving. And he was kind of flipped over to his side. So I got him out. Like, what the hell's going on? He's dead. Okay, now the snake's good 4 or 5 years old now. I've never had any problems with that Hypo Jungle. Never had any problems with food or anything like that. And what I realized happened was he's in shed, so he started rubbing. Okay, and somehow there was if you see Cypress mulch, and I know lots of people use it for different animals. They come in like little stick-like things like this, like mulch. Well, there's a piece in there, and somehow it got jammed his eye, and he pushed it in. And that was that. He pushed it in far enough to where I went into his brain, and he bled out and died. I know it's a little graphic. I didn't take any pictures or videos of it because I don't share those kinds of images with people, but I do tell people about them. So this is just my way of letting you guys know. Be careful of the bedding you use. I've used Cypress mulch now for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now. Never had any issues with it. I know tons of people that use it, and they've never had any real issues with it. But that is something that obviously is an issue that happened, and immediately as soon as it happened, off to the store we went. We got a ton of aspen litter, and every cage got switched back over to aspen. So that won't happen again. But this is a good thing, a learning lesson that I learned from, that hopefully you guys can learn from too. If you're using that type of bedding, be aware this is a type of thing can happen. Because even though I had a hide in there, and there's a water bowl in that snake's cage, it's still gonna rub on stuff to get the shed off. And that's just what happened. He just rubbed and just happened to, he must have just took it and pushed in, and it just pushed up against the cage, and just the pressure of him rubbing and the pressure of the cage just poop, and there you go. And so, just something to be aware of. Always be conscious of things, and don't be afraid to share something that goes wrong, because hopefully you can learn something from me that happened to me and not make that same mistake. Something that was totally preventable. This is something that I blame on myself as the keeper. This is not something that I blame on the Cypress mulch. This is not something I blame on, the snake or anybody else or the cage. This is me, because I'm the one that put that bedding in there and kept it in there. So everything got switched back to aspen litter. I prefer aspen anyway. It looks cleaner, easier to find the poop anyway. And we were actually, and the thing that sucks about this whole situation is we were actually just getting ready to switch back to aspen litter next week. We were talking about getting some and redoing all the cages, and me and Priest were planning everything out about how to get it done, sections to do on this day, sections to do on that day, then do that section on that day, and then do that section on that day. A lot of cages, a lot of snakes. Didn't work out like that, so literally me and my son spent pretty much all day and half the evening getting all the cages switched over. That was, and it's not just simple case of just scooping it up. I mean, that's scrubbing everything down, doing a thorough washing, you know, getting, you know, just doing all the good stuff that you should do anyway as a keeper. Just wasn't planning on doing that many cages in one day, but I did. Happy I did it. So just be aware, if you're using Cypress mulch, this is the type of thing that can happen. You know, learn from my mistake. It really sucks. You know, and this is a case where, you know, even though I have a lot of snakes and people look at me as just a breeder, this animal that died, Tieson, was not going to be used for breeding probably anytime soon. He had no breeding plans this year, no breeding plans next year, no breeding plans the following year. This was totally a Hypo Jungle that I just happened to like, and I bought it. You know, it wasn't something that I was even looking at breeding anytime in the near future. It probably wouldn't have bred until it was probably about 10 years old anyway, just until I get areas and certain things that I wanted with that project lined up before he would even been used. So this wasn't like just a breeder snake where, it's just a breeder snake, no big deal. No, these are all my pets, every single one of them. I know all their names. This is Rainbow. She's a stripe line. Darwin, she has Darwin, Erangia, and Coastal in her, and so I know everything about my snakes. So even if I'm not going to use them for breeding that year or the following year or even in 5 years, I don't just buy snakes to buy them. I buy them because I see something in them and I love them and they're beautiful to me. They're not just something that I go, ooh, I have this snake and ooh, this guy's going to do this for me or this girl's going to do that for me. Yes. Do I take that into consideration? Of course I do. You know, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm a breeder, but that's not my sole purpose in keeping these animals. They really help me and I enjoy them, and it's something that me and my son enjoy doing. If a priest didn't enjoy doing it, I would still enjoy doing it by myself. It's something I really enjoy. So, you know, it sucks, you know, but this is something that can happen. And so therefore, I just want to reiterate again, if you guys are using Cypress mulch, be aware that this can happen. And also, you know, just be conscious of, you know, what's in your cage and what's going on, and making sure you're checking on your animals, because if I hadn't have checked on that animal, who knows how long it could have sat in the cage for, or, you know, it could have, say I didn't check on the animal and it was alive still, and yet it had a piece of Cypress mulch sticking out its eye. Okay, now it's been in pain for how many hours or how many days? So doing daily checks several times a day is highly important. Learn from my mistake, guys. Please do. Anyway, this is Box and Bow. Sorry for the late night video. Just want to get this information out to you. Sorry it's on such bad news, but you know, for me personally, I take it as a positive because it made me do everything right away. You know, so you know, him passing away it turned into a positive because it allowed me to adjust the things that need to be adjusted immediately and not just putting it off until, you know, later this week. It made me do it instantly. And so, you know, that's the thing. So you gotta look at things that, you know, you guys are always saying, oh, well, Jay, you can look at things positive because, you know, everything's going right. Well, not everything goes right, and this is something that went wrong, but I'm looking at it as a positive because it allowed me to instantly take action instead of putting it off for a week, well, until later this week. Do it all in one day and got it done today. You know, so this was totally a preventable accident, as most accidents are. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, just please leave them down below, and you know I will get back to you. Hopefully you guys are having a positive day. I know I started off having kind of a negative day, but it's turned into a positive day. So you guys have a good day. This is Box Bow saying peace.